No! No! The weapon bequeath Harmonia. What a tongue twister. Greetings, I'm Slice, and today I'm going to be showing you some gameplay of the brand new map for Elden Ring Nightreign as part of the new DLC, The Forsaken Hollows. Now this was one of my first playthroughs. I'm playing solo, and let me tell you, playing solo in this brand new mode, in this brand new map, is quite a challenge. But anyway, even though it is labeled as a shifting earth, this actual new location is an entire new different map, as you can see here. Now I can't go over every single thing in one video, but these are basically my first 15 minutes of a solo playthrough. Now I can tell you that there are multiple locations that you can start from. Sometimes the map, or the bird I guess at the beginning, will drop you inside of a boss fight, like you see here in the gameplay, the Caden mercenaries. Now I recommend, if you do get the Caden mercenaries, is to constantly go back to the site of grace that's nearby and level up, because you constantly get runes from killing the enemies here, so it will improve your experience here. So constantly, get some kills, then go back to the site of grace, then go back and kill the remaining enemies. I like killing the bats first and then the warriors. Anyway, this map, this shifting earth, does have a gift, and that includes breaking 3 crystals. There will be multiple crystals marked on your map, but if you do break 3 crystals, the main crystal in the center of the map will allow you to get its secret power. Now the secret power allows you to get rid of the debuff that you get from going to special areas. So sometimes there are special areas in the map where they are full of treasure and full of good enemies. Like, think of the castle, but like 5 times better. But these areas will halve your HP. No matter how big your HP bar is, it will always be halved. So to get rid of that effect, we want to get at least 3 crystals. The crystals are not marked on your map until day 2 begins. But of course you can get the crystals right out of the gate on day 1. So I put together a little bit of a, it's not a guide, but here's an image of the possible locations of the crystals that you want to break. Now I recommend you break all 3 crystals on day 1, so on day 2 you can go around doing basically what's the equivalent of a boss rush in all of these special areas. And yeah, so there's 1 crystal right there. And yeah, so it is very difficult to understand what bosses will actually drop dormant power. Like, this hand looks like it's going to drop dormant power, right? Nope, it didn't. But anyway, we're still trying to work out the kinks of this new map, the ideal routing. So stay tuned, I will have an additional guide, a full complete guide on how to, run this map. I'm still testing things out. As you can see here, I already have a little bit of a route, based on the location of the crystals. Now, I want to point out that this map has several layers. Well, at least 2 to 3 layers. But you can fall to your death. So the deeper you go, the more likely you are to fall to your death. Now, one of the new things that I don't know if I showed you here in this gameplay is that the mine shafts are a lot deeper now. They go deeper, but they still have 1 boss. At least I found 1 boss, and it's almost always the Crystallian. So I recommend you do the mines as well if you're playing Scholar or, other characters that require smithing stones. Anyway, churches return. Now, this may be a bug, but I did find a church that was not marked here on the left side of the map. Not too sure what that's about, but yeah, there's a church that wasn't marked. An additional thing to say is that the DLC will only work if, well, the DLC map will only work if you load up the Balancer's boss fight or the Dreadlord boss fight, the expedition. So it only works with the Balancer's expedition and the Dreadlord expedition. So it is important to say that. Now, to activate this, like I said at the beginning of this video, to activate this shifting earth, you have to have defeated Tricephalos, which is, the first Night Lord, the dog with 3 heads, and you have to talk to the Undertaker character and the Scholar character at the Round Table Hold. After that, walk towards the altar, and this will activate the Shifting Earth. If it doesn't work for you, make sure you progress through Undertaker's questline. To progress through her questline, all you have to do is play a match or two, win, and you unlock remembrances. And do the remembrances up until chapter 4. Once you're in chapter 4, go to the altar behind the small jar bazaar, and a message will pop up saying you've unlocked the Shifting the Earth, go look for the Scholar. Now that's how I did it, but of course you can try it yourself, go to the altar and see if it works. Remember, all you have to do is unlock Scholar and Undertaker first. Anyway, so these areas right here, as you can see here in my gameplay, at the top left, my HP is halved, so you cannot do these areas until you've done all 3 crystals. I mean, you can, but you will most likely be one-shotted, as there are very, very strong enemies here, like the Divine Beast Warrior from DLC of Elden Ring, and yeah, but there's a lot of good loot. So if you want to optimize your routing, you can go in there, grab some quick loot, get out, and then progress your crystal gathering. As you can see, I did die. It is a vicious place. But yeah, so it is going to be very difficult to sort of coordinate in this map, because this map is very, very difficult. Now, this map has, much like the other expeditions, has a few presets. It probably has up to 3 or 4 presets, and I've only encountered 2 of the same bosses, like the end of day 1 and day 2 bosses. The day 2 boss can be Mohg, Lord of Blood, and, spoiler alert, the demon in pain, or the demon from below. So the demon from below and the demon in pain will be a duo on day 1. If you get that on day 1, on day 2 you will get the demon prince, which is a more powerful version of that character from Dark Souls 3's DLC. Additionally, if you get Lord Mohg, Lord of Blood, you will be able to purchase a purifying red crystal tier from Libra, the Equilibrious Beast vendor. Otherwise, you're gonna have to deal with Nihil. Anyway, as you can see there, I got a crystal. Now, crystals are not always in the same locations. Like I said before, this map has a few presets. So what that means is every time you jump into an expedition, you will get a separate preset. So it is important to note that if you don't want to deal with, having to look for these crystals on day 2, I 100% recommend you learn where they are on day 1. If you play with friends, spread out and search for clues. And trust me, even if you're level 5 or level 7 at the end of day 1, you are going to be fine against the first night boss. So prioritize those crystals on day 1, and then you can do a boss rush for every single location on the map. I suggest you do at least 1, 2, maybe even 3 if you're playing trios. On day 1, 3 locations. Ideally you want to have 1 or 2, but 3 is like if you're a really good player. What I mean by this is you want to have at least level 7 at the end of day 1. Whether you do it by doing, castles, rises, mine shafts, stuff like that, I actually recommend doing the mine shaft because it's quite easy compared to everything else. I recommend you get to level 7. I recommend you do the mine shafts on day 1, 100%. If you do this routing that I'm doing here, I recommend you do the mine shaft because the snails give a lot of XP, and so does the crystallion here. Now, if you do go down into the mine here, the same one that I went, just keep going forward, don't go back out, because there's always an exit at the end of the tunnel. So yeah, just keep going all the way down and eventually you'll come back out. So don't let this fool you. It will not lead you to a dead end. So yeah, there's that. Anyway, overall this map feels like a complete different thing. Of course, it does feel like, you know, it has things from Shadow of the Erdtree DLC, from, you know, base game Elden Ring, and it's very similar to, you know, the Crystal Cave from Dark Souls 1, but this is way better. I mean, if you've played the Souls before, you may recognize, you know, the Crystal Cave, but it's not exactly like that. It's just reminiscent. In terms of field bosses, I haven't found anything too extravagant yet, but mind you, I haven't seen 50% of the map yet. I've seen the Horned Warriors, the Eagle Warrior, you know, the Birdman, and, you know, the Divine Beast Dragon. I've seen the Curse Blade. I've seen the Erdtree Avatar. I've seen the Dark Kindred enemy, the Gargoyle, the Black Knife Kindred. I've seen Black Knife Assassin. I've seen Centipede Demon. I've seen the Grafted Monarch, Godric, the Ancient Hero of Zamor, the upgraded version of the Golden Hippopotamus, the one that goes Super Saiyan 3, the one with the golden spikes. And that's pretty much it. I'm sure there's other stuff. Of course, Artorias is in there, but I didn't find him, but maybe he's in a different Shifting Earth. Who knows? Maybe he's in the Dragalord expedition. Anyway, once you get all 3 crystals, any 3 crystals, you can then go to the middle crystal after it breaks open, and you can acquire the Power Within. Now this Power Within will also have a Spirit Spring which will allow you to jump forth. Now I recommend you go directly to this corner, the bottom right corner of the map. As you can see, that little gray castle figure, it leads you straight into a special boss fight. Now there is a golden fog wall. The fog wall will go down and will open up after you defeat the boss. I found the Centipede Demon here and Godric the Grafted. They're not super difficult enemies, but you have to be at least level 10. But yeah, I suggest you do this directly after you acquire the Power Within the crystal. Wait, here is some gameplay of the Balancers boss fight. There they are! Oh my god! No! No! The weapon bequeathed Harmonia.